I don't know if you saw this story or not, but when Richard Branson was in town last week to speak to the Economic Club of Grand Rapids, a young man set up a table with 2 pints of beer on it in the path that Branson had to travel to get to the podium. And sure enough, Branson stopped on his way to give the speech, sat down with this young man, and hoisted a beer with him, fulfilling Bugsy Sailor's dream of having a beer with Branson. Bugsy joins us on the phone from the Upper Peninsula, where he lives. I know you've had a website, Bugsy, up for a long time, but tell us a little bit about the genesis of this, about how you got one of the world's richest men to sit down and have a beer with you. If you don't know who Richard Branson is, he's a billionaire, and he's kind of Great Britain's Bill Gates, if you will. How did you arrange this, and why did you want to do it?
I started it in 2010 as a New Year's resolution. The idea was simple. I just kind of asked myself, if I could have a beer with anybody, who would it be? And Richard Branson made his way to the top of that list.
Now, do you admire him for his entrepreneurial spirit? Is that kind of why you emulate him?
Yeah, and there's certain other amazing entrepreneurs, and Richard Branson being one. But I've kind of always loved his personality and his kind of go for it mentality. He'll do crazy publicity stunts like dress and drag, and he's taken his exploring ventures across the world. Trying to go across the world in a hot air balloon, and coming up with these super crazy, awesome ideas and just going for it. And that's kind of the whole concept of having a beer with Richard Branson himself.
So, you found out he's going to appear in Grand Rapids, which is the closest you figured he was going to get to you because you're way up in the UP. So you come down here and you set up a table and chairs? Is that what you did?
Yeah. So, when else would Richard Branson be coming to Michigan? I knew this was going to be the best chance I had. So I was, I looked at my contacts list kind of. I was like, man, who do I know in Grand Rapids? And I had met Rob Bliss a couple times in passing, who's, of course, well-known in Grand Rapids for some of his publicity stunts. And he kind of posted a Facebook post about it and kind of got the ball rolling and got me a couple other contacts. And that got me in touch with the executive director of the Grand Rapids Economic Club. And she was super awesome to work with, Lorna Schultz, and kind of help communicate my mission back to Richard Branson's staff.
You set up this table. You got him to sit down. He hoisted a beer. You tapped glasses. 4 years of work. Was it worth it?
It was absolutely worth it. It was very brief, in a way anticlimactic. But I think it was the whole story, as a whole, and kind of the determination and not giving up on this goal. And, I wanted to have a real sit down, at length conversation, which is hard to come by. So I'll take what I can get. But, I kind of want to just pass the idea along to everybody, and especially kids, that, if you have a crazy idea or an if question that comes to mind in conversation, that you can act on it and make it happen rather than keeping it a hypothetical question.
Well, that's the takeaway I want everybody to have here, because I think I always have this theme in my life, and it's clear you do too, that you shouldn't hold back. If there's something you want to do, go for it. And you went for it, and you got it. So you set a goal, and you achieved it.
Yeah, it's been amazing. The response from everybody has been awesome, which I'm happy to see, because, I want to inspire people to, go for that stuff. And, it's something that I'm not going to let up on. Like, this was Beer with Branson, but there are other ideas around the corner to hopefully make a series out of it. But I want to have fun in life. I want to do these types of things, and I hope others do too.
All right, and we'll see what some of the other things he has planned coming up in just a few minutes. 7:16, we're talking to Bugsy Sailor. He had a beer with Branson last week in Grand Rapids, and we'll talk more with him. And here's a question I just want to throw out there. Is there someone in mind that you would like to have a beer with one day?